Hello and welcome to the Forbes India Cover Story podcast. I'm your host Himani Kothari. With me on the show today are two brilliant colleagues of mine, Samreen, Wani and Vasudha Mukherjee, both of whom have done a deep dive into the Forbes Billionaires list for 2026, which is what we're going to be discussing on the show today. Samreen, Vasudha, welcome to the show. And
Thanks
how
very much.
fun is it to talk about other people's money?
Oh, always, and it's definitely a big part of the job.
It is, every year this list comes out and I sort of go through it and I try to find like one name that I can relate to, and then 5 minutes later I'm looking at my bank account and like, okay, humbling.
I mean, technically, we are all millionaires, rupee millionaires.
Oh wow, that definitely helps me sleep at night, Samreen. Thank you for
glad.
that. I know we can talk about our misery all day, but we're a little short on time. So let's get back to the topic for the day. We're discussing the Forbes Billionaires list for 2026. I'll just give a lowdown and then, you take it from there because I know you've gone through the list thoroughly. So in terms of countries, US is on top again with 989 billionaires. China is on number 2, which along with Hong Kong has 610, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
India is on number 3 with 229 billionaires. Now, India, the headline takeaway for me from the list is that the combined net worth of, the wealthiest people in India has crossed $1 trillion in 2026.
That is right.
To put that into context, the output of the entire Indian economy, which is what we call GDP, is about 4.15 trillion.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so we've seen a lot of interesting trends, Samreen. Young billionaires, the rise of young billionaires being one of them, and Arvind Srinivas is of course the youngest billionaire on the list at 31. He's the founder of Perplexity. He was also on the cover of Forbes recently, where
Yes,
he
he was,
talked,
yes.
where he talked about what's next for Perplexity. So, and Arvind is interesting not just because he's the youngest guy on the list, but also because of what he represents, right? Because for the longest time, the brilliant, most brilliant minds in India, they went to the US and they generated wealth for the companies in the US. But then here's this guy who went to the US, he founded a company and he's sort of on the
Rewriting the
list.
American dream.
Rewriting the American dream, so to speak. Yeah, well said. So, Samreen, just beyond Srinivas, what did you see in the Young Billionaires Club?
You're right, Himani. We are seeing a rise, the rise of young billionaires in India. I mean, the primary reason why the combined wealth of all billionaires has topped 1 trillion is because we have more young billionaires in 2026 than we did in the year before that. And the reason is the rise of AI and fintech companies, right? So for instance, Arvind Srinivas at 31, the youngest this year. Last year, the youngest was 36, was Mr. Prasanna Sarkar.
Right.
And so we are, just as the old saying goes, old money is rich, new money is just faster.
Right.
So that's what we are seeing. And it's not just them. It's also Alak, it's also Harshil Mathur, it's also Shashank Kumar, it's also Pratik Maheshwari, again from Physics Wala. So yeah, we are seeing the rise of young billionaires in India, and more and more so. This year we have 11 young billionaires. By young we mean those aged 45 and below. Last year we had about 7 of those. So yeah, new money is faster.
Right. And what sectors are these guys coming from?
So most of them are from the AI and the fintech sectors. Some of them, of course, for instance, Dipinder Goyal, now formerly from Eternal, and we also have people like Sachin Bansal and Binny Bansal from Flipkart. So yeah, those are the sectors mostly from AI and fintech.
Right. Another interesting thing is pharma, right? We have a lot of pharma billionaires. I think it's the number 2 on the list.
But none of them are young.
Let's not be ageist. But
Of course. No, of course. But yeah, I think that the most wealth that is being created right now is from the sector which is diversified. That's where you have the Ambanis and the Adanis. And then, of course, the second of all is from pharma. And then we start with, manufacturing and metals. So that's how it goes.
Right. And we've got 30 newcomers this year on the list, right?
We do, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any name, guys, on the list that you did not expect?
I think Vasudha will answer that.
Yeah, no, I think that's on our cover, the name that we were not expecting.
Of course, Physics Wala. And Vasudha, it's such a wild story, right? Something that started as a YouTube channel is now a listed company that's like valued at over 30,000 crores.
Definitely, it's the kind of sort of dream story that you want your own story to be like. All creators, I think, want to eventually sort of build something that is lasting, that is going to go into the public markets maybe even, and sort of like make sure that their legacy is there. And Physics Wala managed to do that. And I think more than just Physics Wala going from YouTube to as a business to IPO, It's the fact that they managed to succeed in edtech, a sector that we thought was more or less over after the pandemic. I mean, we saw billions of dollars getting poured into edtech companies, and all these companies after a while just started to get acquired or merged or sort of just disappear from conversation. We stopped talking about edtech. And then we have Alak and Prateek coming in as billionaires on our list, which was a welcome surprise. Although they did tell me that they've been billionaires for some time. We have only just noticed it now. Most of it is stock wealth. But yeah, it's a really big moment for EdTech. It's a very big moment for India also, to have these people on the list and to have them on our cover. And I think they look lovely.
They do, they do. What did you figure out when you were reporting for this cover story? What are they doing differently? How are they succeeding in this?
So that's a very good question because, and it's a question that everyone wants to have answered, right? Like, what did you do right that like everyone else sort of tried and just didn't get to the level of success that Physics Wala managed to attain? And if you ask Prateek, he'll say distribution. He had a great distribution network. In fact, he had that even before starting Physics Wala. So he managed this startup called Pen Pencil. And that sort of helped all these creators on YouTube, teachers on YouTube, sort of reach out to more students. And that's how he got to know about Alak. And he called up Alak and he said, why don't we do this startup together? And Alak responded with, don't even try. He was like not interested at all. Which is fair because he's a teacher.
Yeah.
His passion has always been to teach people. And he didn't want to enter the business, and that's fair. And that's generally the set that you see. You have someone who has experience with the business and someone who's very passionate about a certain sector, an area, and then when they come together, it can be a great marriage, which we are seeing with Physics Wala right now. But yeah, 2 years later, once the pandemic really sort of hit and all of education sort of moved online, then of course he saw the potential and it was time to turn it into a business.
Right.
I think what was jarring for me was just like going back into a coaching institute at this age and watching all these students
Did you ever go when you were younger?
I did not. I think in 9th class I told my parents I will not do engineering. I will not pursue anything in medical because I was
passionate about journalism.
I was terrified about coaching. Passionate about journalism, yes, correct. What about you? Did any of you ever consider going to coaching?
I mean, of course we all did. I mean, at least I
Samreen
did.
shaking her head.
No. Were you guys like really intelligent or something?
Opposite. On a business end, what actually worked for them was what I've been told by analysts at least. These are not my own words. First of all, that they didn't have to worry too much about customer acquisition, which is something that a lot of costs go into. A lot of edtech spent a lot of money on advertising, on getting celebrities in their advertisements. And that's where a lot of funding money apparently also went into. Physics Wala, of course, they do advertising, but they did not have to spend so much on that because the brand was already established. Alak was already very popular. So they had a huge group of students who they just had to funnel from the free YouTube channels to the app, which had certain paid courses, then to more longer specific courses that were maybe on an annual basis.
Right.
And then they just kept growing that one step at a time. The second thing that sort of worked for them is that they were very affordable. And they still are very affordable. Most people, and Kota is famous for this, they have to, look for a very good coaching institute, maybe pay exorbitant fees, travel to another city or a state.
Stay there.
Then you have to think about the boarding, the food.
Yes.
It's a whole lifestyle change. Not having to put in that kind of an investment into your education saves a lot of money. So it was very, very accessible. And it's still very affordable. And the third thing is that they did see more growth. At least I think Lightspeed joined in once they went into hybrid mode. And I was talking to Dev Khare about this, and he just said, I just can't, think of education just being a solely online thing. It has to be hybrid.
Right.
And I think we all have that sort of old school thought in our head. And I don't know to what degree that is true or not. We're not parents, I don't know. But of course, we all had good and bad times in school. We all want our children to go and interact with other people. So once they went hybrid, that's when Lightspeed sort of also stepped in and gave them funding. So that definitely also helped them. But even now, they will say that 97% of their students are online. But because, again, the physical classes, of course, cost more. So the money coming in is more or less the same on both ends.
Right.
Yeah.
What is your sense of the future of EdTech? Do you think it's going to be hybrid?
Definitely, it has to be hybrid because, there's a lot of trust involved when you get into education, especially when we're talking about K-12 education. It's not just, I mean, Physics Wala does deal directly with the students, but in general, parents are very much involved. There's a lot of accountability that education institutes have to take.
You started your answer with calling Alak a creator, and we know that he's not a creator in the traditional sense of a creator, but he did start with creating educational content on YouTube, and as we were discussing before the recording, he did pivot to the startup model pretty quickly. But do you still think that this is one of those first examples of a creator-led company sort of going public and making it big?
I mean, it's definitely an example of a creator-led company.
Would they agree with that definition?
I'm not sure they would agree with that, but it's because he never went into the influencer style.
Exactly.
He was not, I mean, I do think there's a very big difference between someone who is making educational videos and content on YouTube versus someone who is more, well, an influencer who is maybe doing a lot more. And there's a lot of advertisement involved, right? Like influencers are also bringing in other companies and other people and other products into the mix. Alak has never done that. Physics Wala has never really done that.
But aren't all creators now selling their own courses?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't know how successfully they're doing that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an example of that.
That's the end game.
I mean, they can do it if they do it smartly. If you work with someone who knows the business and if you're genuinely passionate about something, of course you can build that. And we see that all the time. We see that with a lot of different creators. We see that with a lot of comedians, in fact.
Yes. Right. Yeah. You know, what is also interesting for me for Physics Wala is the fact that much of Physics Wala's success comes from the proliferation of cheap data, which was made possible by the entry of Jio, which is owned by Reliance, whose promoter is on the top of the billionaires list. So in a sense that, the big conglomerate created the infrastructure which is allowing small companies to sort of scale up, and now you have physics teachers on billionaires list. So it's just a nice little loop to close,
Absolutely. And your smartphones are a big part of the reason why this was successful. The fact that people have access to cheaper smartphones, cheap networks, and they're able to access information so easily is a big part of it. And we already know the government is leveraging this by creating skilling courses for people to access. I mean, I feel like there's a lot going on in the internet. I think there might be too much going on. But there's a lot of corners of it that we haven't even started to explore yet. So no, smartphones, an affordable data and network is a big part of why this model worked.
Right. Samreen, is there anything else that you want to point out that you saw from the list that,
Well, yeah, I mean, let's talk about the people who lost wealth this year.
Oh, okay.
Why not? I mean,
going there now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we have people like...
The revenge of Samreen.
I wish I was that big to call it that. But no, I mean, we have people like Lakshmi Mittal or Joya Lucas or Aparna Dangi who have really seen an increase in wealth this year. But then at the same time, we have people like Ravi Modi or Radha Vembu or, Shekhar Vembu or Acharya Balakrishna. Everybody who has seen a loss in wealth this year.
Okay, on that morbid note, I think we'll end the show. Thank you, Samreen.
Thanks.
We'll be back with more such episodes soon. Thank you.